It's the first week of the last month of 2022. Let's talk about numbers and news that's coming out about the commercial real estate market and the state of it. It is very, very difficult right now for these big corporations like BlackRock and Blackstone and all these real estate REITs, where people are starting to freak out and they are starting to limit the amount of money that people can pull out, because people are pulling out money in droves all over the place, trying to figure out what's going to happen in the economy. The Fed's raising rates, things are happening left and right. So when times get scary, the worst thing that happens is the banks start to freak out at the same time as well, and they start to limit their exposure to the market. So if something does go wrong, they still have money and they don't have a bunch of assets that are underwater with loans that are way overvalued like last time. So what that means for you is now is the time to get cautious and to start making offers that you would make maybe a year, 2 years down the line today. So let me explain. So let's say an asset today, let's go back 8 months, interest rates are 3%, cap rates are hovering between 2 and 4 and 5%, which the cap rate is your return on your money on the amount of money that you put in versus how much money between your net operating income. So it's how much money you make, essentially, in simplest terms. Well, with rising interest rates and rising monthly payments for that asset, the cap rates now are raising 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12%, which drops the value of that asset down, which values start to fall when cap rates start going up because there's that much fear in the market. The biggest asset class that I see going down is outside of, downtown office that we've talked about a lot of times, is all these new builds, new apartments, new office, new flex space. The new medical offices aren't going to get hit as much because those guys have great secure tenants, and everyone always needs medical care no matter what the economy is doing. But these new apartments, especially with the amount of apartments that they've built all over the city, in every city, Minnesota, Florida, all over the country, the same thing that kind of happened before in 2008, where you would have buildings that were 60, 50, 40, 80, 90% finished, just sit there in foreclosure because the general partner on that deal walked away from the project. Because once a project gets to a certain point, you start working on going from your construction loan into long-term debt financing. And on paper, if your rents are here to make the project work, to have a debt service ratio above 1.25% or whatever that bank requires on a monthly basis, and now your rents are down here because the economy went down and the prices went down on those type of assets, and the banks are very afraid to lend you money on those assets. Well, now everybody in that deal just lost money because they can't get more financing, and in scary times, people do not want to invest more money into projects either. So that's what I see happening right now. It's kind of a scary situation because we've never been here before to where interest rates rose so fast, along with the last 2 years of asset prices rising so fast. So when two things are going up at the same time, it's creating a situation to where it's not sustainable long term, because with high inflation, high interest rates, and high prices, something's got to give. And from what it looks like in the current state today, it doesn't look like that inflation nor interest rates are going to give. So the next thing that has to give is pricing. And if these guys that are starting to build these projects pencil them out in the beginning to make sense at current market rates and projecting forward that rates are going to go even higher and higher and higher, and now rates are going down, rents are going down, well, now you have a big mess of people walking away. I'm already hearing stories from bankers, attorneys that represent these type of deals to where already in December, people are walking away from their builds on apartment buildings that are 70, 80% done because they just have no way to refinance that construction loan out into long-term debt because the numbers no longer make sense. They don't have any more money to bring to the table. So it's going to be a mess in the commercial space, but in every mess, there's lots of opportunities that get created. So make sure that you're ready if you invest in commercial real estate for the opportunities that are going to be coming Q1, Q2 of 2023, because they're going to be coming, especially if rates stay high. The other thing that happens, that's happening right now all over the place is banks are afraid to lend money on projects, even if they're, fully stabilized, cash flowing up buildings. The banks want more money down. They want more money into the deal from the general partners or the purchasers of that deal because they want to make sure that they're covering their gaps on where, if the market does adjust down, they have enough money from you to cover that gap in case something happens. If tenants are going under, they're not paying their bills, they want to make sure that they're covered if they have to foreclose on that property and take it from you, essentially. So we're in a new environment that we've never been in before because rates and prices have never risen this fast in both commercial, residential markets, and it's lots of people with lots of other people's money with syndications and everything else came into this industry, came into this market and started buying up stuff without having the experience behind them, which is going to create a whole new set of problems because those guys don't know how to run these projects, to save these projects. The biggest problem in this industry as a whole is management. It's impossible to find good management companies. And right now, more than ever, it's impossible for management companies to find good vendors that have employees that know how to fix stuff, that know how to take care of things, which is creating a whirlwind of issues for everybody. So what that means is there's going to be problems and opportunities that arise from those problems. So get ready if you're purchasing. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Stas Manchek here, Minnesota, Southeast Florida. I would love to help, love to have a conversation if you're thinking about investing or if you're thinking about purchasing anything or selling something. Because remember, real estate is a slow-moving game. Last time in the crash, it took 5 years for prices to bottom out, and then they started going up. If you bought something in 2007 last time around, 2008, your pricing did not get back up until the midsummer of 2019. So you had to hold that property for 7, 8, 9 years until pricing comes back. So make sure that if you are investing right now, that you're in it for the long term. You're not looking for the quick flip, unless you find a distressed asset that you can fix up or re-rent or release, whatever the case is. But make sure that you are working with somebody that understands numbers, understands where the market's going, and can help guide you to make the best decision on your behalf. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. All my contact information is down below. And if you like this content, please subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. Have an amazing day.